Hello everyone. So I'm in Burbank now, going to New York. Finally, I'll be there Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and I leave on Sunday. Right now I have 6 shows planned, and I'm also gonna jump on Brent Morin's shows at Gotham. It's my first time doing comedy in New York, so it's a pretty big moment for me, and I'm really excited about it. New York, baby. It's weird to say that unironically, but because everyone always goes, New York, baby, you know, but all right, too many people are looking at me. I gotta go. So I'm here in New York. I'm crashing with my uncle for the day and the night, and look at the building he stays in. Beautiful. He had a doorman and everything. I'm already so out of my element. Immediately me so far when I get out of the car. First New York bagel. Yup. Fire. All right, it is Thursday, day 2. Last night was awesome. I had these two bar shows at the same spot in Brooklyn. It was a hell of a schlep to get over there, but the train is amazing. It's so great. Only thing about the train is that there's air conditioning on the train, but like when you're waiting for the train on the platform, I think it's 145 degrees. It feels like you're in fucking Baghdad. I mean, it is. I haven't sweat this much since I ran the mile in 6th grade. The first show, I get a message on the way there being like, hey, no one's here. We're gonna cancel the show. And I'm like, fuck. Well, at least I have a 9 o'clock show at the same spot, right? And then I get there and then some people show up. So there ended up being maybe, I don't know, 10 people there. But it went great. Like they were an awesome audience. Same thing for the 9 o'clock show. It was still so fun.
Getting dark, not getting fashionable, but it's just this, I don't know, this heat, you know, like.
It was such a positive first night of comedy. It was like a nice warm up almost. Now I'm gonna go meet up with one of my best friends from college, Steve, somewhere in the city, and then I have a show at 10 o'clock tonight.
You do like what you do with the leading power pizza. I probably want a 10.
And they were never seen again. This is my new friend Cisco. Cisco, say hi to the people.
How's it going, everybody? Hey, I'm just here. You know, I'm a doorman. I met a good friend of mine. He's a friend of mine now.
Now we are.
Now we are, yeah. And very cool guy. Hey, New York, one of the best cities in the world. Don't forget that.
Yes, sir. All right, quick recap of Thursday night. I only had that one show at Grizzly Pear.
We don't know. I mean, it's New York. So who is this?
Which you probably just saw a clip of. The show was like this little club in the back of a bar, and it was great. I was running a little bit late, so I walked in and I was like, next. So I had so basically like the whole day was kind of leading up to this 10 o'clock show. So I walked in and they were like, hey, you're up in like 2 more. And and then I basically just did my spot and then it was over. And so by like 10:20, I was like, all right, it's over. So now it is Friday night. I'm eating a salad, being trying to be healthy. You know what it is. You know what the vibes are with the health shit. So tonight's kind of the big one. Tonight I have 3 shows at 3 comedy clubs in New York. And the first one is at Stand Up New York, which luckily, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my aunt and uncle let me stay in their place for the rest of the weekend while they're not even here. So I have this giant, beautiful Upper West Side apartment to myself. It's fucking ridiculous. So Stand Up New York is like a 10-minute walk from their place right now. And then from there, I go take the train down to Gotham, where Brent and Jason are, and then I'm gonna do a guest spot on the 10 o'clock show. And then from there, I'm gonna bolt even further downtown to the Comedy Shop, which used to be this place called the Lantern, which is like another little club, kind of like the Grizzly Pear, I believe. I'm just really excited, man. I'm happy and grateful that I have 3 shows at New York comedy clubs in one night. Like, that's a cool thing to say. Here's hoping for 1, I don't have salad in my teeth for this whole video, and 2, that it's a fun night. Let's cut to that.
a white girl? You're like, actually, my name is Svetlana. And
That's how it works in New York.
Well, your next comic is in from LA. Give it up
For Eric Burkart! But my mom, the whole time, she would try to make me feel better. She said, she would say I'm a late bloomer. She said that. Anyone else hear that made up mom bullshit? So you got the same thing, the late bloomer thing?
Similar but different.
Similar but different? What did they tell you?
It was just like kind of keep your like confidence up type thing, not like ejaculation type shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't know you started so like mathematical and sweet, and then you're like, anyway, so they told me not to get cummed on too much. Oh, I was not ready for that. I feel like I just got ejaculated on that. When you said that, I was like, God damn. That was crazy. Your mom got gangster real quick. Just like try your luck with people and like be confident and also fucking get wet down there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, I have sex, but like I don't know if I'm not like good at it. You know what I mean? Like I do it, but I'm not one of these guys. Like I feel like you have like a move that you do. Like you got like a ooh, like that's not just choke them. You gotta just choke them, hit her, don't hit them. Stutter. You stutter. I'm not. Dude, I feel like I don't want to be subpoenaed after this. I'm not looking at shit right now, bro. I don't know. Bro, you went right to choke. That was fucking crazy. Jesus Christ. Nice to meet you. Get the fuck over here.
Hi everyone, it's Saturday. I'm gonna give a recap of Friday night, which was one of the craziest nights I've had in comedy, I'd say. First one was at Stand Up New York. Great lineup, definitely a little bit intimidating. And the room was, I'd say, maybe a third of the way full, maybe third or fourth of the way full. There's probably, I don't know, 30, 40 people there, maybe, if that. But man, they were rocking. Like they were awesome. And I had a great set. I had a really good set. A bit of a slow start, but man, there were some big moments there. There were some really big, fun pops. It was a lot of fun. I feel like I held my own. The manager that was there, she was like, great set. And anyway, so from there I went to Gotham Comedy Club to do the shows with Brent and Jason. A couple things. So when I walked in, the first thing, Jason said, hey, let me introduce you to Andrew Russell. And I was like, oh, fuck. Now, here's who Andrew Russell is. He's only the biggest agent in comedy. He's at William Morris, and he's Brent's agent. He's Tom Segura's agent. He's Pete Davidson's agent. I mean, like, he was Kevin Hart's agent for a while. He's huge. And I've talked to him before with Brent over the phone about a Lion's Den thing, which is the podcast that I produce. I don't know, for people who aren't Lion's Den fans, just context. So anyways, I knew who he was, and he kind of knew who I was. So I got to meet him, and I realized, I'm like, oh shit, like chances are he's gonna watch my set. Which, think about this. This is basically, I mean, my dream is that Andrew Russell is like my agent. Like, that's like the dream, kind of. It is the dream. Fuck it, that's the dream, right? And so the fact that he is potentially gonna watch my set that's a fucking big moment for me. And it's also a lot of pressure. I mean, you can imagine the pressure. It was really intense. And so the funniest thing that happened is that, when you go on stage, there's usually a couple steps to go onto the stage. And that's kind of also, as the performer indicates, even if you've never been to the club before, it indicates like, oh, that's where you enter, right? Like that's where you go. And before my set, I was trying to figure out where to go onto the stage because I've never been to Gotham before. And there's a left side and there's a right side. And I didn't see steps on the left side, and I saw steps on the right side. So I said, okay, that's where I enter from. And right before I go on stage, like Brent like runs up to me and he's like, dude, no one can find you. People are looking for you. You're up next. Do you know? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm standing right here. He's like, yeah, you go from the other side. And I was like, well, I don't know. He's like, yeah, the whole club is looking for you. I'm like, Jesus Christ. and then they're like, anyway, so Will Burkart, everybody. I'm like, fucking gee. So like so many things are happening. And And I'm happy to say that I had kind of one of the best sets I've maybe ever had. I'd say it's a top 10, if not top 5 set. Everything came together, and it was I was really proud of myself because, I mean, it was a lot of pressure, obviously, and I was able to not let it fuck me up. And I even, when I started my set, none of those guys were in the room. Everyone was in the green room. And as I kind of started my set, I would kind of clock people who were walking in. And I saw Andrew's like blue shirt walk in, and I knew he was there. And I'm happy to say that it didn't like throw me. Very easily you would expect to be thrown by something like that, but it didn't like mess me up at all. And I kind of just like kept going, and it went great. I was so happy. So I got off stage, and I had to run to my third show. I had to like bolt there, so I had to like run. So what happened is I got off stage and I see Brent and Andrew sitting right near the exit door. And what I was gonna do, I was gonna go downstairs to get my camera bag, go back upstairs, say bye to those guys. Hopefully Andrew wants to talk to me or something, who the hell knows, and then leave. So I like dodged them because I knew I was coming back up, grabbed my bag. And what I didn't know is at that moment, Andrew told Brent, hey, I want to talk to Will. And he thought I left. So what happened is that he decided to leave. So when I went back upstairs with my camera bag, he was leaving, and we both like met at the same point of like the hallway. And we were like, oh, hey. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, shit, here we go. And we walked together through the hallway and exited, and we like had a great conversation. Basically, the first thing he said was, he was like, funny stuff. He was like, great stuff. And then he went right into like giving me notes. So he said that, and then he looked at me and said, slow down, meaning talking a little too fast on stage. And he was like, you have, not verbatim, but he's basically like, you have so many funny jokes and so much good material, like let it breathe. Like you're rushing through it. And when he said that, I was like, yep, I've heard it before. It wasn't surprising. We talked for maybe 30 seconds more, and then he hopped into his car, and he was like, yeah, man, like, great to, he's like, hopefully I'll see you before you leave, blah, blah, blah. So it was a crazy roller coaster of shit, because it's like, I went off stage thinking, I'm up here when I get off stage. I'm at like, couldn't be happier, basically. But then he gave me those kind of notes, and then I'm like, uh-oh, now I'm kind of here. I'm like not as happy because he's like pointing out the negatives. I think that's a pretty natural reaction to have. But then when I was here, I kind of also realized, well, if he didn't fuck with me, he wouldn't have given me those notes. He would have just been like, cool, man, yeah, good stuff, or not even said anything, or who knows. But the fact that he took the time to give me advice and notes, to me, is a really good thing, and indicates that he has an interest in me. So from there, I took off to this other show, and it was like the back of this restaurant. I forgot to take like exposition shots of what it looked like. There was maybe 25 people packed in this little room. Seemingly a great setup, but that show was so weird. It was like not good. I did the same set that I basically did at Gotham and Stand Up New York, and it got like a third of the response. I mean, like, it's like the crowd was dead. Like, they didn't give a fuck. So now Saturday, it's a very similar night. I basically have Stand Up New York again at 8 o'clock, and then Gotham at 10:30. And Stand Up New York, the guys called me today and asked if I was supposed to go on at 9, shows at 8, with like a 10-minute set. And he called me and said, hey, can you close out the show at 9:15 with like a 12-minute set? And I was like, no matter what he would have said, I would be like, yeah, no problem. If he said do 5 minutes, I would be like, yeah, sure, man, sounds good. Whatever you need. That's the mode I'm at. And side note, there's supposed to be a hurricane hitting the East Coast tomorrow. So my flight's at 4 p.m. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of nervous about it. So more to come, but what a ride.
Well, guess the hurricane's starting. I found an umbrella, thankfully, or else I would have been fucking soaked.
Yo, y'all are problematic for that.
So Saturday night was crazy. The first show that they asked me to close out at Stand Up New York was bananas, because I didn't know this until after, but like 3 different groups of people were there to see me. In fact, when I was about to go up, I was at the bar waiting, and this group of people walked in late, and they were like, hey, we're here to see Will Burkart. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Like crazy. Like, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to people actually coming out to see me. That's a crazy thing to me still. And when they announced my name, like, I heard a response that I've never heard before. And like, I didn't even know what to do. I was so flustered. Watch.
All right, we got one final comment for you guys. He's visiting from LA. Let's show some love for Will Burkart, everybody.
Jesus Christ.
The fact that people came and saw me at almost every show was like so crazy. At Gotham, after that, like, this kid came all the way to Gotham by himself to see me, and we talked after, and it's crazy to get a glimpse of like the success that I want, especially in a place that I don't even live. Oh, and this hurricane, by the way, it just rained really hard. That's all it was.
It's the last comment. This is it. And you guys get to leave into a fucking hurricane. So that's nice. Are you guys ready for a hurricane? No. Yes? You got an umbrella? Yeah, that's a good call. Such a guy thing to say, oh man, fucking umbrella. So I got a hoodie and an umbrella. I should be fucking good to go. You're just blowing away. That's just gonna be inside out in 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure. Is that the most bitch feeling when that shit goes inside out? You're like, no, wait. Hurricane. I don't know, you already packed for a fucking hurricane. Honestly, every time I pack for a trip, I pack as if twice a day I'm gonna shit my pants. I don't know anyone else does that. Why do we do that? Like, what a weird way to live. Yeah, but I've never shit my pants once in my entire life. Like, it's just gonna casually happen in the middle of a hurricane. Like,
Rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna